Hi guys, and welcome back to Pass and Move. And for today's episode in our Tactics and Team Guide series, we're still in France with the AS Monaco for today's game, or rather for today's team, and we'll be taking you through just what we should be, trying to do to try and get the best out of this Monaco side. Now, as you know, in real life, they are an exciting young team playing incredible football, and as you can tell, I haven't touched anything in this game just yet, so so I can take you through step by step exactly what I do. So first things first, you should try and find out who your best judge of ability is in your staff. Of course, you can improve them later on, but just for the sake of doing it with the stuff that we've got, our best bet is apparently Bertrand Ruzio, I guess. French, head of youth development. I guess your assistant's decent, but of course I would say you could improve a couple of these judgments as well. I think the higher it is, the better it is to judge your squad. Okay, so what we can also do is first figure out just what our assistant thinks is the best formation. It's automatically set for 4-4-2, which is I think the formation they play with in real life, but apparently my assistant thinks the 4-3-3 is the best bet. We'll find out in just a second. We'll give you both the possession-based tactic that if you want the possession-based one, or if you want to play directly in a high tempo, we'll be doing that as well. So just by looking at the squad, you can tell there are some depth issues. I think we'll go and look at the team report in just a second. We've got 23 players, so we already know we've got too many players there. I always like to have a first 11 and a backup 11, so that should be 22 players in total, so we're one over. But my bet is there's a couple of players who aren't quite ready for the league. And I've already forgotten the staff name. What was his name? Alright, Bertrand. Alright. So we've got 4 strikers, we've got a couple of attacking midfielders, some wingers, some centre mids, some centre backs, full backs. Now that's already quite the mix, and I think we can go in 2 directions with this team. But first things first, let's sort out the team by our best 11 players, try and make a formation out of that and try and include as many of them as possible. That way you got your best team. So just by looking at it, we got 2 midfielders, 2 attacking midfielders, centre back, 2 strikers. Now it depends on who you play where. So just by looking at it, probably 4-2-2-2, 2 defensive midfielders, 2 attacking midfielders seems to be the best bet. But we know Bernardo Silva and Thomas Lamar should be both capable of playing in different positions. So it depends on where you see them best. But let's say for the sake of argument, we'll go with the 4-2-2-2, and then we can do probably maybe the 4-2-2 as well for the direct type of play. But anyways, first things first, it looks like the 4-2-2 is the way to go. But the problem is it leaves out youngsters such as Mbappe, who with incredible potential, who won't be able to play there at all. And apparently he's not even ready for the league in the game. I guess that's okay then. Who's our other winger? Nabil, he's 30 years of age, so I wouldn't worry too much. Only considered a good player, so I guess it's not too bad. So yeah, I think just to try and get the best out of everyone, it looks like this is our best bet. And I'll be honest with you guys, I've never used this formation before. There is a control or possession-based type of football by the looks of it. You dominate in midfield and whatnot. First, we need to find out of the best 11, was that centre midfielder capable of playing as a defensive midfielder? Not at all. Alright, so it looks like we can't really work with that formation then, because advanced playmakers they can play in centre mid, but I want to try and use them to the best ability. They are the best players, they are young as well. Let's have a look at the team report actually. Okay, so apparently wages and better depth in striker department isn't enough. I think my assistant might just have been ready. Right, actually, rather. The 4-3-3 seems to make the most sense. Mendy and Sidibe, both young, but they are both more comfortable playing as fullbacks than they are as wingbacks, according to my assistant anyways. So but we do want to play 2 strikers, so 4-3-3 does not help us. Alright. Okay, couple of things to decide then. So it looks like we can play a 4-4-2, and I reckon as well, if you want to play possession based, this type of 4-4-2 would work too. I'm going to go for these two just because we want to include both our strikers, and we want to play with an advanced playmaker. This one, we can, you know what, I'll do another 4-4-2, which can actually be possession based. Of course it's more suited to direct play, but I think you can switch it, tweak it to be a bit more possession based, and that way you'll have a bit of a nice mix of both styles of play. So 4-4-2 direct, as always mentioned, we're supposed to be a top team in the league. We're expected to end the season in 2nd, according to the preview, so we'll play on attacking, and more direct, higher tempo, roam for positions, and be more expressive. I like keeping it simple, as I always mentioned, but again, up to you. You can be way more detailed. So if we clear that, go on attacking, you can be more expressive, you can play more direct, higher tempo, you can pass into space, you can run at defense, you can even hit earlier crosses, I think, clear the ball to flanks as well if you wanted. And then now there's other things you can do, such as if you want to draw opposition out, you can play a little bit deeper to make them come out to you, close down a little less if you wanted as well. If you stay on your feet, you can keep your team shape a little better, and you can play even wider to completely stretch your opposition. So these are things, of course, that you can all do, but again, I like keeping it simple, so it's just roam, be more expressive, more direct, and higher tempo, and that's just how I like playing. Now for the 4-4-2, of course, control is your best bet when it comes to trying to play possession based, and again, I always like keeping it simple as well, so still lower, shorter, roam, and be more expressive. Again, you can change all of that, stay on control, work ball into the box, play out of defense. You can still play shorter, you can retain possession, roam for positions without a doubt. You can get stuck in if you want to try and win the ball back more, you can close down more, play the offside trap, play a high line, and you can even play narrow to try and keep the players close to each other, and that way you keep possession ticking over. But again, it really depends on what type of manager you are. Do you like to micromanage, or leave the manager, or leave the players to make some of the decisions? So again, that's the tactics we should be playing with. Just which players play where and what roles. We'll figure that out in just a second, but let's try and do this one as well. So we'll be playing attacking. We did say possession based, but I have a feeling we'll be tweaking that in just a second. Okay, so for argument's sake, let's say the 4-4-2. Now in Subotic, I think you definitely got a good goalkeeper, leading for the division. Morgan Santos will be a decent backup. He is 39 years of age. I would be tempted to sell him and bring someone in who's young. As I always mention, your first choice should be a leading player, and your second choice should be a player who's young with potential to becoming a leading player in the division. That'd be perfect. Now, by the looks of it, you've got too many right backs. And okay, Ruggie can apparently play centre back. I reckon he's a bit better as a centre back than he is a right back. But again, that's preferences. Fabinho playing in centre mid or right back. I would say centre mid a little bit better, I reckon. But again, it depends on formations that you're using. And Torre, of course, the right back as well. But he's probably he's not injured for that long. I thought he was injured for longer. Left back, Mendy seems to be the only one. So maybe that's a position to look out for. But let's have a look at the other right backs. Who's got a left foot on them? Okay, no left footers. Okay, so what you're definitely going to need a left back. That's without a doubt. But you know what? Let's have a quick look through the squad and see who's ready for the league and who's not. Diallo? Nope, not ready. Definitely get rid of him. Kevin, not ready. Get rid of him as well. There's no point keeping these players in your squad. You're better off investing it. Of course, if you don't have the money, then it makes sense to bring them back in. But just for this type of thing that we're doing, I guess, setting up the team and whatnot, you don't want any players who are not ready for the league. That does not help whatsoever. Mbappe is going to be an incredible player for you in the future, but right now, not ready. It just does not make sense. Send them all out on loan. I'm just putting them down for the sake of trying to get them out of the way here, but send them out on loan, and by next season most of those players should be ready. Carrillo, you know what, just by having a look at the game, it looks like their manager's actually done an incredible job in real life. I didn't think they were this. They're kind of poor, to be honest. I think they're Champions League material, kind of, but they will need a lot of depth. Look at that. We're down to 19 players. We need 3 more minimum, and that doesn't even include on the players that we need to improve. This is just trying to make up the numbers. But left back is definitely an area to look into. I think over here we've got 4, so you play, I think only one of them are capable of a centre back, one of them as a midfielder, and then that would mean you need to invest in a left back with potential. Probably Mendy is potential. You don't want to really ruin his potential, but again, if you're not comfortable with him just only being considered as a fairly good rating for the first team, you can definitely invest in a ready-made player. I think maybe that's a little bit better, just because of some of these players, they're a little bit lacking, so you might be better to invest in leading a left back if you can find one. If you can't afford one, just get a potential one. We'll have a look in the reserves and under 19s. Maybe there's someone with potential there, so you never know. Fabinho, I reckon he's already leading. You can probably play him in centre mid instead. That way Sidibe has, you know, the freedom to enjoy that right back spot without any serious concern for his competition, other than Raggi, who's a decent backup anyway. Well, actually not Raggi, Torre, who'd be a decent backup, and he'd eventually compete with Sidibe. But if you have Fabinho there, neither of them are going to play. So let's say, for argument's sake, Fabinho's going to play in centre mid. That leaves us with Bakayoko, Moutinho, Torre, and you've got a couple options. So 4-4-2, that would mean that your advanced playmakers, you're going to have to try and play them as wingers. So these Silva, Lamar and Durare should be your wingers, and you'll need an investment in the left mid spot probably, but this should be your centre midfielders here. And I think you've got decent options in all of them. You might want to bring in a bit more experience, because your only experienced player is Moutinho. The other 2 are young. If you get one more player in who's good, you know, guaranteed star sort of thing with experience, maybe Adama Traore. I don't know how long he's out for. 9 days and 3 weeks. Okay, I guess maybe just trust the youth a little bit and hope that it works out in your favour slowly. Obviously, Moutinho and Bakayoko should be starting, and then Fabinho and Traore should be backups, and then hopefully eventually they take over. Moutinho and Bakayoko, Fabinho and Traore grow into their own basically in the squad. Now in the striker position, you've got Falcao, Carrillo and Jermaine. Of course, Falcao and Jermaine are going to be your starters, even though they play the same role. And Carrillo is a target man. You'll need investment in the striker positions. So I think that leaves you with striker, left wing and left back if you're playing the 4-4-2. Not the diamond, the normal one with the wingers. If you're playing the 4-4-2 with the possession-based type of thing, you still need investment in striker, but you would need investment in defensive mid, I think. And it depends where you're playing Fabinho, defensive mid or centre mid. If you're playing him in defensive mid, then you need investment in centre mid maybe. Silva and Lamar are probably your best bets. You want to play them together. So one of them is centre mids, one of them attacking mid. You want to try and avoid playing them separately. Of course, they both prefer playing an advanced playmaker, but you know, you're gonna have to try and avoid that right now. Just because if you play one of them and not the other, then they're not in the same squad, and that's not your best 11, of course. So maybe centre mid is your best bet to invest in as a backup, of course, and not the young. So you don't want any star players just yet. You need to trust this young team, really. We've got a decent mix of experience and youth, to be honest. So it's just a matter of them gelling, and they'll probably be ready within a season or 2 time. And then, yeah, you'll still need investment in left back. The only place you wouldn't need investment in if you're playing the 4-4-2 diamond is the left midfielder. In fact, you could probably sell Nabil Durare if you're playing that 4-4-2 with the diamond, and invest that elsewhere. And the centre back is still an area to invest in. So let's try and make a team with the 4-4-2. I don't know why that's changed again. Alright, let's keep down attacking. And let's have a look at the strikers first. So you want Falcao, complete forward, plays an advanced forward, plays a poacher. Not too good of a poacher though because of his pace, but he still does have nice instincts as a poacher. Target man, not too well. Jermaine, let's see what type of player you are. Complete forward as well. Not a poacher or a target man, barely an advanced forward as is. Okay, so we want to try and play as, you know, direct as possible in this formation. So we will be playing a complete forward on support. When you do have the chance to play Carrillo, then definitely play him as a target man. That suits a direct style of play a bit more. And then here we don't really have any poacher, so we'll play as an advanced forward. If you do invest in the poacher as your fourth striker, that'd be perfect. That suits direct play again a little bit more. So say complete forward on support, you'll want a winger here on support and a winger here on attack. And that leaves your fullback here on attack and this fullback on support, and that way you've got your flanks and your strikers complementing each other. Centre backs, they all seem to be comfortable playing as a central defender. I think you don't really want to play a ball playing defender. He doesn't really have the vision for it. He does have decent passing but not the vision, so let's just leave that as his centre defensive midfielders. Over here is where you have a bit of a decision to make. Now if you are dropping Silva or Lamar into that centre mid spot, even Martino is capable of playing as a deep line playmaker on defend, and that way you can play a box-to-box midfielder, which would be perfect for direct play, or you can play ball-winning midfielder as well. But the formation or the roles that you want to work toward is this, eventually, if you're going to play this. But for now, you're working with the team that you've got and the players who are capable of the roles, so you're going to try and do, maybe, I think, what's his name, Bakayoko is more comfortable as a ball-winning midfielder, and you don't have too many in those. I think Fabinho's also a ball-winning midfielder. He's capable of those box-to-box, so it's really trying to play the players to their roles. But box-to-box midfielder or ball-winning midfielder would be okay, but if you're not going to play as a deep line playmaker because there's not enough, players suited for it or whatnot, then you will have to play a centre mid on defend and a ball-winning midfielder or box-to-box, either one. And that's basically how your squad should look like. In the 4-4-2 diamond, it's going to look a little bit different. You want to play your wing backs here, or you want to play complete forwards. Complete wing backs, not complete forwards. That'd be really strange in the wing back position. And here your best bet would be playing the anchor man. But again, let's see who you'd play in defensive mid. Bakayoko, not really an anchor man type of player, is he? Defensive midfielder, he's decent. Anchor man, he's alright. I think just for the sake of the squad, defensive midfielder, you want to play an advanced playmaker here without a doubt. And we'll still go with the complete forward on support and advanced forward, combination. It seems to work best for your strikers. Advanced playmaker here, you can play a ball-winning midfielder here on support. And now here's where you have a bit of decision to make. You can play an advanced playmaker on attack, I think, and then play a trequartista here. And I think both Silva and Lamar should be comfortable playing those roles, which they seem to be. Yeah, they suit that as well. But if not, you've got a couple of combinations you can do basically. You don't want to be playing two advanced playmakers here and here, that's just too much of a mess. So trequartista or an advanced playmaker there, or you can even do an advanced playmaker on attack and a centre midfielder on attack. I think they would suit those roles as well. They should be able to play as, they should have the finishing needed for centre mid on attack. They might not be comfortable for it, but I'm sure they can grow into long shots, finishing all decent for Bernardo Silva. And Lamar as well should be the same. So I think that's how your squad should just about look like if you're playing the 4-4-2 diamond. That's decent enough. You can of course do this a box-to-box midfielder. This just suits the possession-based side a little bit more. Wingers, you should have one on attack and one on support, and I think that's alright. You might have to switch these around depending on who you're playing where and which roles you're using. And I'm sure you'll notice when there's a little bit of an unbalanced side, but I think this is how it should look like. The 4-4-2, where we're trying to play a bit more possession based, you're going to have to play on control here, not on attack. And why I was saying you could do possession based is because you can play complete forward here on support, still play the hands forward, you can still play the ball winning midfielder on support, you can still play the defensive midfield, centre midfielder on defend, but instead what you can do is play the wide playmakers. Alright, and that way it should work a little bit better for possession based. It won't be entirely possession based, it will still be kind of direct, kind of possession based. It'll be a bit of a mix of both basically. So if you're that type of manager, this would suit a little bit more, and you can get both Lamar and Silva playing. I think Silva will play here and you'll have to train Lamar to play on the left wing But this is just in case you want to stick to the 442 either way. But I would say your best bet is either this 442 or this 442 diamond. And you have to bear in mind, of course, Mbappe and your youngsters that are coming through, which we can have a look at now actually. See who to look out for and keep an eye out on. Alright, so in terms of age, no one to really get rid of, sell, make some extra money off. So youngsters, Diallo, not ready yet. Not ready yet. And again, not ready. Alright, so there's no youngsters that are ready, but in terms of potential, there's plenty of potential. Look at that. You've got at least 5 players with almost superb rating for the senior team in terms of potential. So that'd be incredible. And incredibly enough, Mbappe isn't one of those. The game doesn't rate him too well, I think, so far. Siala would be a winger. You got great wingers coming through. You've even got an advanced playmaker, so you might want to consider eventually shifting to the 4-2-3-1, or maybe even sticking to the 4-4-2 for the sake of having your wingers there. But Mbappe is suited for the inside forward role more than anything, so you might be tempted to eventually move to the 4-3-3 as well. It's all up to you. He cuts inside from both wings anyway, so it doesn't make sense using him as a winger here because he's going to cut in anyways. But again, just all about preferences. But yeah, plenty of players to keep an eye on. Your transfer budget is 21 million, but unfortunately it's all the way on the right, which means you don't have much wage budget room, so you will have to lower that. A couple of places need investment in the squad. You're a little bit short in quality, but if you're smart with your money, if you're smart with the investments, then you'll do alright. And of course you can still rely on the youngsters and the reserves and under 19s. I've only moved them there because they're not technically ready for the league, but you never know a player until you try them out, of course. And maybe you'll be ready within a season or two time. That just proves how incredible a job they are doing in real life right now. But anyways, I think that will be all for today's episodes. Of course, if you did enjoy them, please do hit the like button and subscribe for more daily Football Manager 2017 content. And as always, thank you guys for watching.